Hello, 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 my friends. Lorelei Fenton here, and here is our theme for this time. I'm your Ancient Awakenings reporter, and in my private life, I'm called the Feel-Good Guru, because as a transformational personal growth and personal and spiritual growth coach, I help people feel great and heal their hearts and get rid of whatever happens to be in the way of that. So today, we're going to speak about the Ancient Awakenings channeling, which was on September 2nd, 2018. And this was our blog talk radio, Prepare for Change. Now, these channelings come through James McConnell, who has over 25 years of service in this area. That's pretty cool, huh? And we also often get messages from Shoshana, who's the higher self of Joanna McConnell, which is his wife. And this week we had a powerful visit from Lord Sananda. And what wonderful things he had to say. Wow. So we're going to get into that. You're going to hear all that. And also, one of the individuals known as One Who Serves came to answer questions for us, which is kind of the general pattern. We get to actually ask our questions of an Ascended Master. So One Who Serves is a kind of a conglomerate of Ascended Masters who remain anonymous in order to highlight the fact that we are all one. So, on the radio show, the call facilitator is Zoe Keniston. And Zoe came on first and explained a little bit about who we are. And we're members of the original 144,000 soul group that came here to this planet eons ago to assist with bringing this new golden age to planet Earth. And we call ourselves family because we have that connection. And this is our sacred space here to actually be who we are and to be free. And it's a place where we don't get ridiculed or called crazy for knowing what we know or being who we are. And it's now time to remember fully who we are and what we're here to do. So, if you're on this call, it's very likely that you are in our soul family, because as One Who Serves often says, you just would not have found us if you were not one of us. So welcome, family! Then Zoe fully welcomed all of our newcomers. And why, you might ask, is this call entitled Prepare for Change? Well, Zoe explained that this is because we are preparing for change by releasing our old programming, raising our vibrations, and remembering who we are and all about that. In short, we're awakening the ancient wisdom that we each carry within us, which is, of course, where our group name, Ancient Awakenings, came from. And that wisdom, by the way, is that which heals and manifests and connects us to our divine selves, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it is that which has us be the creators, literally, we actually are. So inside of that, we're remembering how to use light and sound frequencies to heal ourselves, how to use influxes of energy and crystals, how to move between dimensions and see beyond the veil. And we're remembering how to use things like astrology and numerology to understand it all. And we don't have to be taught any of that. Isn't that great? We just have to remember it, right? We have to remember it. Zoe also explained that as it pertains to information, we believe it's important for each of us to have the information and then go within and discern for ourselves what information applies and what to do with it for ourselves. Like not with someone else telling us what our truth is. So that's pretty profound. So then Zoe introduced Rita / Pallas Athena. That's her earthly name is Rita. Pallas Athena is her higher self. And she's our resident numerologist, astrologist, spiritual counselor, friend, teacher of many, many things. So Rita / Athena came on to explain that every way you cut it, this day or that day we were in comes out to the number 2 in numerology. And the number 2 stands for cooperation and duality. The number 9 And so all of the month of September is universal. And I won't go into her in-depth explanation of this, which was kind of, fascinating. But basically, any number you add to 9 comes back to itself. So 9 plus 1 comes back to 1, 9 plus 2 comes back to 2, 9 plus 3 comes back to 3, and so on. Because in numerology, we add the numbers together to get to one number. Meanwhile, if you multiply any number by 9, it also comes back to 9. So 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, which adds up to 9, 9 times 3 is 27, which adds up to 9, and so on down the line. So this month, we should expect things to come full circle, or come to a completion, one might say. Well, let's hope so, huh? Well, come on! I'm ready for that, are you? So this was our great news from Rita. And then Zoe took the call and introduced James McConnell, our channeler, who kind of went right into his channeling state, where we did hear from Lord Sananda. The storms and clouds are gathering now, he said. And everywhere we look, we're going to see more and more and more with that third eye. And what we thought were stars are actually ships in the sky. And many of us are having telepathy now, and we only need to trust this and believe it. Intend, believe, trust. We can communicate with the stars and the galactics, and all we need to do is to open up to all there is out there. And we're told that many are awakening across the planet, and they're wondering, why am I here? What's it all about? What we wondered, right? For when we first started on this path. And we, as the way showers, are here to help with that and to answer their questions. But we're not to answer the questions until they ask. That's very important. The directive is ask and it shall be given. So, as the storms come and the clouds approach, they will soon part and the light is going to shine through. Yes, because that's the only way it can be. Because light is truth, and we are each the way, the truth, and the life, or light, as it's also been said. That depends on your timeline, by the way. There was a timeline shift on that. So our job, so to speak, is to trust in each moment of now. Trust that it is the right moment, which will take us to the next right moment, and the next right moment. And before we know it, we're going to be in a miraculous and momentous time, a momentous future, just from staying in the now. But to get there, we must stay in the moment of now and trust. Everything is ready, and all that's been behind the scenes is coming forward to the general public more and more and more. And it's up to us to be there in a person's time of need as he or she awakens and begins to ask questions and reach out to us as mentors. And soon they will be mentors to others, and then others will be mentors to others, and each will continue to spread the light and the love and the awareness and so on. Woo! Isn't that great? We may not see all of this yet, but it is happening, and it cannot be stopped. Even the dark forces actually cannot stop this, although they may keep on trying a little bit. But it slips through their fingers because they cannot hold back the light. Who can hold the light? The light's going to shine forth. And I'm going to say, too, that in our Ancient Awakening meetup conversation previous to the call, by the way, we were speaking about the information we had gotten, that the Cabal's satellite systems were taken down. This info was from QAnon, which is a solid source, as we've often been told. So basically, it seems that the Cabal's entire communication system has been disabled for good. Come on! Now that's great news, isn't it? Woo. So I'm happy to hear that. So then Sananda left us with his peace and his love, and he made a strong request that we continue to spread the light as often and as far as we can, but not to impinge on another's free will, to wait until a person was interested in that information. So then came our wonderful brother and ascended master, one who serves, and he said that they are celebrating in the higher vibrations this grand occurrence that is happening right now. And as it happens in the higher dimensions, by the way, it will filter down to us in this illusion. And the illusion will soon be gone, and we're going to be in a new reality. We're going to be understanding and remembering who we are. And this is all destined and part of the process. And it's leading us to that thing which we call the ascension, which is bringing all that is new and the new golden age to us. So then, one who serves opened the floor to questions. So would you like to speed up the process to have more telepathic contact with the ascended masters and the archangels? One who serves said it's not so much about speeding up the process. It's about remembering who we are as we find ourselves more in the higher vibrations and have experiences in meditation and remember who we are there. Then we'll have more waking state memories, and things like telepathy are going to take care of themselves. It's all about consciousness. Consciousness is who we are and who all life is. Life is consciousness. Light is consciousness. Love is consciousness. We are consciousness. And all began when Creator said, "Let there be light." And unmanifest became manifest. And before that, there was no consciousness because there was no understanding of self. Unmanifest became manifest, and consciousness was born. That's pretty cool, huh? And we carry this throughout eternity, and we can never die. The physical body can decay and go away, but consciousness continues forever, eternally. So basically, all we have to do is to remember our eternal self, and everything else comes. So, but how do we be a channel for Archangel Michael, for instance? How would he do it? This was another question. And basically we were told we just need to intend it. Intend it. We intend to be open to communication from an archangel or our higher selves or an ascended master. And the process begins from there. But most important is to believe. Belief. Believe the messages coming to us are coming from that higher self or being. But if we begin to question, is this real? Is it my imagination? Then that's going to stop the process. There must be trust and belief for this process to occur. Trust leads to belief, which leads to knowing, or vice versa, as they kind of go back and forth. So that's how that works. So again, intend, believe, and trust. So then we had a question about those NSA and CIA satellites being shut down. And we were told that this is what Sananda was actually speaking about when he spoke about the storm coming. And also when President Trump said, "I am the storm." And actually, we are all the storm. With the alliance with us, we are all the storm and the boots on the ground. And those satellites are being shut down and taken control of. Whoa, that's great. So now, as the telecommunication systems of the cabal come down, they lose more and more and more of their sort of bite or ability to take any kind of control whatsoever, which leads to the many dominoes falling as they're already starting to fall. And this is what they've been speaking about for a long, long time. That these are the moments just prior to the great changeover and leading to the great event. But how do we remember how to do telepathy? Said another person. This seems to be a running theme this week, right? Telepathy, telepathy, telepathy. Well, one who serves says they cannot teach this. They cannot cause us to remember. They can just kind of nudge us along. And as we set the intention to remember, set the intention, intend, believe, and trust, and raise the vibrations more and more, the memories will begin to filter in. And the memories of who we were and have been, and the ending of the game, so to speak, we will get those memories. It's afoot. The ending of the game is afoot. So the game we were playing, by the way, was one of forgetting, so we could be here and be in the matrix. But the end of the game of forgetting is near, and we're beginning to awaken and to remember. So all we need to do is to intend and allow it. Many of us are having memories and dreams and visions, and we're remembering them. And also the memories will come flooding back as the vibrations raise, leading to the great event. And if we've not remembered as that event comes, then many of us will, at that point, remember a great deal of who we are. So, are you, by chance, an empath or an artist or what sometimes has been termed a highly sensitive person? If so, do you frequently have feelings of anxiousness? One Who Serves says that many light warriors and workers are highly sensitive, and we come in with an inner knowing of who we are, and then we see that things are just not as we might expect or want them to be. And we have a sort of a remembering of how things were long ago. And we don't want the fears and all of those energies, so we become anxious. And in addition, we are empathic, and we feel more strongly than others because we're so connected. We're more sensitive, and we understand the oneness at a deeper level. So we feel that energy and a connection more strongly, whether it's a good feeling energy or whether it's not a good feeling one. So knowing we are one and having this deep connection is also what keeps us going and moving into the higher vibrations as well. So, when you look, we light warriors and workers have an inner calling or knowing that pushes us forward. And so when you really look at that, it's kind of a mixed blessing, this being of a sensitive, highly sensitive or empathic person. It has a huge blessing, and some of it is a downside a little bit. So, have you ever been given a book in a dream, but the book was closed or sealed and you didn't know what it was, but you had a feeling you were supposed to open it? One of our callers had that happen, and One Who Serves says that such a thing as that tells us that there is unknown knowledge, or perhaps a remembrance that we need to come to. Otherwise, the book would have been shown to us and opened. So he suggests that this caller go into a waking meditative state, a waking one, not a sleeping one, and ask for the book to be opened, and ask for the contents to be revealed. And this is much like what we did at the advance when we met back in the timeline and looked behind that door that was closed. So we actually have a little experience of looking at that information that hasn't been readily available to us. So one caller, by the way, found she was being triggered by her born-again friends, and she wanted to know why the words Christianity and baptism, what they meant and why she has such a reaction to them. And she was told that these are just words, creating symbols, and they began as a way to assist and help people. But then came religion, and an institution formed, and that institution then became all about control for those various institutions. So people were told they would not go to heaven unless they were baptized. And that's poppycock, says One Who Serves. That's the old regime trying to maintain control. But they cannot do that, and they're losing that control quickly. This is what One Who Serves says, if we're going to church because we like it, and want to go, that's great. But if we go because we have to go, that's not freedom. It's not freedom of choice. And we all have freedom of choice to decide what we want and what we don't want. And this is where, by the way, discernment comes in. Go to a church or be a Christian or get baptized if you want to. And don't do any of that if you don't want to. And we're advised to go with the flow and wherever the higher self guides us. If that's to church, no problem. But those of us on this call are likely beyond that, not better per se, but we're awakened so we know who we are and we know that we have full freedom of choice. So we're advised to be free and not to be concerned what others think or what they want us to think. And let them also have their free choice. Or said another way, judge not, lest ye be judged yourself. And one who serves has said before that it is we ourselves who judge ourselves in those situations, and no one else. And by the way, I found this to be 100% true as a personal growth coach. You know, when we're judging someone else, it's always really a judgment of self. And it's the boxes we put ourselves in. So, another person wanted to know, what kind of an effect are Jared Rand's mass meditations having? This was a question of one caller. Well, we're told that all meditations, mass or personal, have an effect when we put our intention on something. Intend. And when there is a mass meditation, they have a grand effect because they are affecting the collective consciousness. And then the vibrations are increasing. And if we could sort of measure all of this kind of scientifically, as the galactics measure it, we would actually see that in those times of those mass meditations, light increases. Consciousness increases, and frequency actually increases on the planet. Wow, huh? Woohoo! That's pretty cool. So there is a direct benefit to these mass meditations. And what about the tipping point, the caller asked? You know, we have over 200 meditations up there on that Jared Rand meditation sphere in the galaxy. And what's going to get us to the tipping point? And to this one who serves replied, keep going! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Do not stop. And we have to understand also the difference between the tipping point and 0 point. Because we've already passed the tipping point. Now that's the point of no return, where the light is greater than the darkness. And we passed it. Come on! That means there's no going back. Yeah? But we have not yet reached the 0 point, which is the point where the vibrations are so great that the galactic pulse can come in and change consciousness forever. So come on, let's go! Get on those calls. I'm going to put the Jared Rand meditation in the notes and also the link to the Cobra, so you can look for his next mass meditation. One of our callers in the meditation saw himself putting several protective layers of energy around the earth and flying them around, and the earth became, he said, very green and beautiful. He saw this, I guess, in meditation, and he wanted to know more about that. And he was told this was not so much protection, because the earth is already heavily protected. But the energy was being given to the life forms here, as they need the light and the awakening, which is a kind of a protection. So then another of the callers had an amazing experience at the advance of being catapulted in meditation to the White House. And he was told that this experience relates to some sort of mission he will have. So he wanted to know more about that now. And what do you think he was told? They can't tell him more because he must get this information from his own memory and inner guidance. And to tell him actually might influence him and interfere with his free will. But he is moving in a direction which may then lead to the next and the next step. And this may not so much take the place of his acting career, but it will be part of a new expression of it. And by the way, being at the White House indicates that he is moving in a direction to become part of the alliance happening there. Wow, that's pretty cool, huh? We'll have our presence in the White House. Woo-hoo-hoo! And many of us will also become a part of that in various ways, by the way. And he could augment his connection to his inner guidance by seeing it, believing it, and intending it to be, right? So there it is again. Intend, believe, trust. And also to trust, right? Which is going to bring him closer to the understanding of what there is to do. So have you heard a rumor that President Trump may step down in the next year or so? In answer to this question, One Who Serves says it is a potential among a number of potentials. And everything is potentiality. That's why we've had so many changes and what might seem to us like delays. There are various potentials based on various probabilities. So no one can say what's going to happen or not happen because consciousness changes all the time. And that consciousness changing changes everything. That said, we're told President Trump is in a position and leading everything forward within this transition right now. So why am I here and what's my purpose? That's a question we often get, and we had it again this week, and our caller was told by One Who Serves that she was guided to the group for a reason, and the reason is evolving more and more as she participates. As she participates, the purpose is evolving and changing, and this is how all of life is. We have many purposes, and they're evolving and changing all the time, based on our choices. Purpose changes as consciousness increases. So we may come with one purpose, and suddenly we're the President of the United States, right? And that was not the original purpose. You know, that evolved because of the choices we made. And One Who Serves advised her, as they do in AA, to keep coming back. And then One Who Serves wrapped things up by telling us to keep our eyes wide open, meaning not just by the way the physical eyes, but also this third eye, because it has been closed for a lot of us due to fluoride and bromine and such things, and he advises us not to use fluoride, anything with fluoride, because fluoride calcifies the third eye. So we should check our water and toothpaste and get away from fluoride in every single possible way we can. One Who Serves then said that they almost never give such advice as that, but they are giving this because we are attempting to activate our third eye, and we're attempting that very strongly now, and we must have a clear pineal gland to do that. So then we were also told to visualize as much as we can, which will also open that third eye. And then One Who Serves us left us with his peace and his Om, Shanti. And then Zoe came on to tell us all about the many resources on the website, which you should really go to and check it out. There are tons of back channelings to listen to, or you can read them. Lots of my videos down there. You can get a shortened version of everything. We've got our Facebook group. We've got a wonderful welcoming program through Dr. Wanda, and just tons and tons of things. And there was a request for volunteers to come on board for some of the group's needs, such as we need someone to keep up the upcoming new health section of the website. So this is really going to be wonderful. It's going to be, naturalistic health, right? And with that, we did close the call, and I will also close by sending you many, many, many blessings and much love and light for a wonderful forward journey on the path. Have a beautiful day.